In this video, we'll delve into situations where unsuspecting employees were on the receiving end of unexpected terminations. From high-level executives going undercover in their own companies to investigate operations.
No, because you know me, Bob.
You did it in front of the CEO.
Seriously, no, this needs to be talked about. The CEO of the company right in front of my face staring at me.
To staff members facing challenging moments, we'll witness the raw emotions and tough decisions that unfold. Let's dive right in. Number 5. The president of Kendall-Jackson wine estates was shocked by comments made by a delivery driver.
Job has both you got to deal with, My job just happens to have a lot of.
On January 29, 2012, an episode of Undercover Boss featured Rick Tigner, the president of Kendall-Jackson wine estates. The stage was set for an eye-opening experience as Rick embarked on his undercover journey.
Drivers are lazy or do this or do that. They're just work associates. And after a 16-hour day, they tell you this.
At his new job, Rick was paired with Renee, a truck driver who seemed to have had enough of his job and consistently complained about many different things.
At the end of the day, customer service is having that truck empty because there's nothing better than knowing that you could just get there, turn off your truck and clock out and go home. But then you got those days call one of the girls in the office. Like, look, this guy takes the sweet-ass time every single day. She's like, okay, no worries. Okay, 40 minutes into it. And here comes this guy with a smile on his face like, hey, dude, what took you so long? He's like, oh, you shut up. I'm like, I already called the company and told him you're...
Renee had clearly grown tired of the work he had to do and expressed his hatred for his job through constant rants. While working alongside Rick, Renee unleashed a torrent of complaints about the laborious nature of his duties and the frustration he felt towards store managers' perceived laziness regarding timely deliveries. His candid views on coworkers, or the lack thereof, showcased his disdain for those he saw as indifferent and unhelpful. As the day wore on, Rick became increasingly worn out by Renee's unrelenting negativity. Seeking a moment of respite, Rick stepped aside to make a discreet phone call to Renee's supervisor.
Mike.
Hey, Mike, it's Rick Tigner.
Hey, Rick, how you doing?
I'm actually out on one of the trucks today, working with Renee, and kind of disappoints me that he kind of talks the way he talks about with the customers. Right? If he has not used 50 times, I'd be shocked.
Apart from his ranting, the president of Kendall-Jackson wine estates was also not satisfied with Renee's use of foul language. The president of Kendall-Jackson wine estates recognized that such behavior was unacceptable and not reflective of the company's values. Though Renee was not terminated during the televised episode, it was evident that his actions had consequences. Rick's words conveyed a stern message. Renee's behavior would be closely monitored moving forward, and substantial change would be expected. It was clear that his future at the company wasn't certain unless he underwent a significant shift in attitude and approach. Number 4. Checkers restaurant manager gets sent off for being abusive.
Time I can take you outside and beat you up, right?
In this riveting episode of Undercover Boss, Enrique Rick Silva, the CEO of Checkers and Rally, took on the role of a fry station employee. His undercover operation led him to witness firsthand the alarming behavior of the general manager, Stevens. He was at the fry station working with a worker named Todd.
Hearing the general manager barking orders.
Todd, sir, I need you to drop what you're doing. I need you to take some trash out.
And then I heard it.
When the manager in charge, Stevens, warned Todd to stop talking to him and keep quiet. To Rick's dismay, Stevens even threatened Todd with physical harm for not meeting his expectations. Appalled by what he saw, Rick felt compelled to approach Todd, seeking confirmation of the manager's appalling actions. Unfortunately, Todd's response only confirmed the manager's rudeness and lack of respect towards the staff. Determined to address the issue, Rick courageously confronted the arrogant manager, Steve, about his despicable behavior.
I don't think I was disrespectful.
To Rick's surprise, Steve offered no apologies and staunchly defended his harsh approach, asserting that only those who could endure it belonged to the company. Rick, however, made a heartfelt attempt to reason with the manager, sharing his vision of creating a positive and joyful work environment. Despite Rick's efforts, Steve remained dismissive and even questioned Rick's expertise in the restaurant industry.
Have you been in the fast food business before?
No, I haven't.
As the tension peaked, Rick could no longer conceal his true identity as the CEO.
I'm CEO for this company.
Faced with Steve's unapologetic demeanor, Rick made a pivotal decision. He chose to close the restaurant.
Right here, right now, we're going to shut the restaurant down.
This bold move was driven by the realization that a significant management change was urgently needed to ensure a respectful and nurturing workplace culture. Number 3. A Hooter manager was reprimanded by his undercover boss.
There's lines that you don't cross.
Kobe Brooks, the president and CEO of Hooters, embarked on an undercover mission within his own company. But little did he know that keeping up in the bustling restaurant would prove to be quite the challenge. As he delved into the day-to-day operations, a shocking revelation unfolded before him, leaving him taken aback. While working on marketing tasks with 2 female employees, he discovered that many Americans viewed Hooters differently, perceiving it as anything but a family-friendly establishment. To his surprise, they believed the franchise was degrading to women, which hit close to home for Kobe, as he personally experienced why some customers might not consider it a female-friendly place.
Or so they start being cut. You make less tips as the restaurant.
During his covert investigation, the undercover boss was not only faced with the challenges of running the restaurant, but also stumbled upon a disturbing situation involving the restaurant manager Jimbo. It became evident that Jimbo mistreated and stereotyped his personnel.
Finishes her plate of beans, we'll go home. You cannot use your hands, okay? So, go! Oh, get some of that. Come on, girl, who wants to go home?
Forcing them into absurd and humiliating competitions for his amusement. In one cringeworthy incident, a demeaning lineup ritual was conducted at the start of the shift as Jimbo scrutinized the appearance of the female staff members.
Makeup, is it on?
Yes.
She looks like a Hollywood starlet.
Yes.
Right? Okay, that's what we're looking for.
Witnessing these actions left the undercover boss deeply disturbed. But it didn't end there. Jimbo had devised an unusual system to determine which staff members would get to leave early during slow business hours.
Come on, girl, who wants to go home?
The lucky worker who emerged victorious had won a competition that involved eating beans without using their hands. Such practices were against everything Kobe believed in, and he knew he had to take immediate action. Summoning Jimbo for a conversation, the CEO reminded him firmly that such inappropriate behavior would not be tolerated.
There's no way that your entire staff is made up.
Brooks made it clear that changes were necessary to align with the company's values and the public's expectations.
Completely prima donnas.
Okay.
That's just stereotyping your whole cast of girls.
This frank conversation left an indelible impact on Jimbo, and he decided to revamp his management style to one that resonated better with the staff and the customers. Number 2, an employee is fired for hating customers.
So go home, and Neil will follow up with you.
So that's it? That's all?
In this episode of Undercover Boss, the chief brand officer of Boston Market, Sarah Bittorf, receives a crucial assignment from the CEO to conduct an undercover evaluation of the staff, identify areas for improvement, and address them promptly. Understanding the importance of her task, Sarah is fully committed to impressing her supervisor and accomplishing the mission at hand. As Sarah poses as a waiter in a diner, she encounters Ronnie, who takes her on a tour of the establishment. Initially, Ronnie's humor and conversation charms Sarah.
Yes.
On your competition, you excited?
Yeah, a little nervous.
It's okay, don't worry about it. You have a great teacher.
Oh, good.
But her impression of him takes a sharp turn when he reveals a hostile side. He openly displays disdain for his job.
Standard procedure is to greet the customer as they walk in and say, hello, welcome to Boston Market, blah, 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 whatever. Because we have to make customers, on a pedestal.
And shows little regard for the company's expectations regarding customer service, which shift manager sets. Sarah is taken aback by Ronnie's offensive remarks and lack of enthusiasm toward customers during their interaction. Even more troubling is his dislike for young and elderly patrons, directly contradicting Boston Market's core value of love to serve. Recognizing the need to address Ronnie's behavior, Sarah takes a bold step and reveals her true identity as the chief brand officer. She candidly discusses his problematic customer-facing attitude and decides to send him home for the day. Sarah's dedication to upholding the company's principles remains unwavering, and she reflects on the significance of providing excellent customer service. Despite Ronnie's apparent lack of awareness regarding the gravity of his actions, Sarah firmly stands by her choice to confront him. For her, ensuring a positive customer experience is fundamental to the company's success, and she couldn't allow someone with a negative attitude toward customers to continue serving them. Number 1. Donato delivery driver fired for smoking pots on job.
Store? No.
Are you under the influence right now?
No. Jeez, what do you think? I was just smoking in the store and then I just went out on the road?
In this captivating episode of Undercover Boss, we follow Jane Grody Abel, the chairperson of Donato's, as she ventures undercover to experience the ins and outs of her own company. Excited and fully prepared to take on various roles, including deliveries, pizza making, and order taking, Jane soon realizes that the undercover operation won't be a walk in the park. During her undercover journey, Jane meets Aaron, one of the dedicated delivery personnel who takes her under his wing to show her the ropes of the delivery process. Impressed by Aaron's exceptional customer service skills and unwavering commitment to his job,
Get it, Mark. All right, you have a good one. Thanks.
I love that Aaron had a really great customer service balance with speed.
And I still don't think he suspects a thing about who I really am.
Jane marvels at having found the perfect delivery man. However, the situation takes an unexpected turn when Aaron candidly shares some surprising experiences he encounters while delivering on campus.
This is fun though. Like I have a really good time doing it. He would encounter some really weird stuff.
Like what?
A lot of people smoke pot, invite me to come in for a little bit, and if I'm not very busy and I don't need to be super focused really, then I'll kind of indulge.
You do not.
He recounts meeting peculiar customers, including marijuana users who sometimes invite him to join them for a short break if he isn't too busy. In these instances, he even admits to indulging in marijuana with them.
I think you're making it out to be like the devil's drug. The devil's weed.
Is it legal?
Is it legal to smoke marijuana?
Yeah, yes or no?
Jane, aware of the potential risks Aaron's behavior poses to both others and her company's reputation, makes the difficult decision to confront him about his actions. Despite Aaron's lack of embarrassment, she ultimately reveals her true identity to him.
On Undercover Boss.
Oh my God. Okay.
Unfortunately, this revelation leads to the sobering realization that Aaron's involvement in criminal acts while representing Donato leaves Jane with no choice but to terminate his employment. In Undercover Boss, surprises are aplenty.
I'm Kobe Brooks, the president and CEO of Hooters of America.
And only some undercover missions unfold with such disastrous results. If you want to stay up to date with the latest moments seen on Undercover Boss, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel.